Now to the fallout from the presidential debate. Former Valley Democratic Congressman and Senate candidate Tim Ryan is calling on other members of his party to replace Biden with Vice President Kamala Harris. Ryan is renewing his calls for generational change, something he told me first right here on 21 News at 5. He joins me now. Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, great to be with you again.
Yes, you wrote an op-ed for Newsweek where you deliver a stark warning to Democrats that they need to change course now and have Kamala Harris as their nominee. Can you explain the generational change needs that you're looking for and others are looking for, you think, and why you're backing Harris?
Well, I watched the debate like millions of other Americans and was just heartbroken for President Biden. But also horrified about the prospects of the campaign coming in the fall. And, you know, no one person is bigger than the party, the country. And I just think we need to change horses in the middle of the race here. And, you know, Kamala Harris has been there for 3.5 years. She has experience. She was a prosecutor, a DA, attorney general in California, was tough on crime. So I think it could shift the perception of the party too a little bit and really energize the Democratic base. I think it would completely change the dynamics of the race. If Biden goes, it is going to be nearly impossible to even have a close campaign. I think Trump runs away with it at that point.
And the White House, actually, press secretary just held a briefing with reporters this afternoon. They say that the reports that are now in the New York Times, in CNN, and other places about Biden considering dropping out are not true and that he's staying in the race. Do you believe he's budging?
Well, it seems like there's a lot of people that are starting to apply pressure. My op-ed was, I think, the first shot across the bow. And I really did it not because of the performance was so bad, of course, and I'm worried about him being able to run a campaign and run the country. But it was because they started to dig in. You know, they started to ask people to unsee what they saw and to pretend it wasn't the case. And I just think that's wrong and irresponsible. And as a Democrat, maddening, because we have a lot of constituencies that don't trust us. And then when you're telling them something that you know is not true, I think that just makes matters worse. So my hope is that, you know, we can shift the narrative here. I think the ship's heading for the rocks, and I'm trying to like intervene a little bit. And I think Kamala would do a great job. I think people in Ohio and the swing states, once they got to know her, I got to know her on the campaign trail in 2020 in Iowa and New Hampshire. You know, she's a lot of fun. She's cool. She's a great person. I don't think people know her right now. And I think once they get to know her, I think she's going to be a terrific campaigner and could potentially be a very good president to try to heal the country.
What are you hearing from your Democratic Party peers? Like, what would it take for Biden to consider his options and potentially drop out?
Well, I think they need to call the White House and encourage the president that he can't do this. Like, you know, you look at the House races, you look at the Senate races, you know, DC is toxic. This is just going to make matters completely worse. I mean, you know, not to get too political, but like if you think Donald Trump's going to calm things down in the country, you know, it's just going to be a revenge tour. And, you know, we've got some good things going on. We've got some problems in the country, but these battery plants, the chip manufacturing plants, the infrastructure money barely's out the door. We've got a lot of really good things happening if we can get past the crazy politics. And that's why I think a generational candidate, someone who's not tied to the Vietnam War, who's not tied to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, like beyond that, I think people would rally around her, and I hope that's the case because I'm pretty sick of everything as it is now, like most people are.
All right, definitely. Thank you for joining us here on 21 News at 5. I know you've taken to social media and you wrote this op-ed, so I wanted to invite you on to hear what you had to say, and we'll see what happens next.
Always great to be with you.